What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. So today we got Bullet Soul Infinite Burst on the Xbox 360. Now this is one of those games there's not a lot of information online about the physical version anyway, being region free or not. Will it work on a US console? Will it, is it stuck in Japan? I looked online and I thought it was region free, and a buddy of mine that was looking for the same game cast a little bit of doubt in my mind, and for good reason, because every eBay description you see, all the sellers say you need a Japanese console to play this game. So I was a little nervous after I bought it. And then after I got it home, as a matter of fact, check this out. That's how I like it, region free, baby. So yeah, this thing's region free. It'll play on a US console. If you have a Japanese console, it'll play on that too. Anyway, Bullet Soul Infinite Burst on the Xbox 360. Let's check it out. Okay, so this is the copy of Bullet Soul Infinite Burst that I got, and that's the front cover. There's the spine, the rear art. Guys, I want to show you these games that way. If you really like the games that I show you, you know what to look for. Now, with that being said, I got this game at a significant discount because normally this game is part of a collector's edition with like an art book and CD soundtrack. Kind of like the games that Play Asia, like Shiki Soul Eater and Fast Striker, kind of like that. So I got this about half of what it normally goes for. This is a kind of a pricey game, so if you can find it for a good deal, definitely jump on it. But yeah, that's my copy of Bullet Soul Infinite Burst, complete with full color manual. It's all in Japanese, so you can't read it unless you can read Japanese. And the disc I have has actually been resurfaced, unfortunately, but it plays fine, so it's whatever. As long as the games work, that's all I care about. Anyway, that's my copy of Bullet Soul Infinite Burst on the Xbox 360. Bullet Soul Infinite Burst. I remember when, it wasn't that long ago, but when I first found out about this game, I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, how come there's this awesome shooter out there I had no idea about? And that stuff happens to me all the time. There's so many, there's like thousands of shooters out there that I comb through to find gold, and this happens to be one of them. But anyway, this is a 2014 release, Bullet Soul Infinite Burst anyway, and it was actually developed by Mages Inc. and Tachyon Inc. So it does look like there was two companies involved with the development of this game, and this game was published by Mages Inc. And Bullet Soul Infinite Burst is actually a revamped version of a 2011 release of Bullet Soul, and this one has a different soundtrack and different gameplay mechanics, but we'll get more into that here in just a minute. I gotta go over the menu system with you guys. Now with these shooters, it is a very important, integral part of these shooters to change and tweak different things to our liking. Things that we couldn't do in the 16-bit era of the shooters on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. So under options, the three main categories are covered. That's visual, audio, and controller. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Controller, you can configure the controller to your liking, which is very important for this game when I play with an arcade stick. Not being able to change the layout of the arcade stick is a terrible thing. And it's a thing that in this day and age on like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox, like, why would you leave this set of options out? It's not like a Super Nintendo or a Nintendo game where there's just two buttons, and those two buttons, you can't change them. That's what they are. Learn to live with it. It's not like that. But anyway, nothing to even bitch about because you can control the controller options on this game. Audio, you can just pretty much tweak the audio. And visual's pretty important because there's so many different options to do things with your screen. You like Tate mode, you want to flip your monitor and lean it up against the wall. You can do that with this game. No matter what kind of setup you got, you want to kind of emulate an arcade setup, you can do that. You can pretty much stretch and configure the screen to your liking, which is pretty awesome because I feel like the screen in this game is a little bit narrow, so I did stretch it out just a little bit. Not enough to make every round thing look like an oval, but enough to kind of fill out the TV, and I think it looks a lot better like that, actually. So once we have the screen set up, we got the sound set up, we're ready to play the game. And once we do, we hit start. We have normal mode and we have burst mode. Normal mode is the 2011 release of Bullet Soul, and burst mode is the 2014 release of Bullet Soul. Now each of these versions does have an arrange mode, or maybe it's like a game plus mode where you can choose your start level, and they just tweak different options of the game. And those game plus modes and those arrange modes, they're just different ways that companies add just more replay value to the game for more experienced players or people that might have played the hell out of the game. Now, there is what appears to be another mode, and maybe it's an online mode. It's the only thing that's in Japanese that I can't read, but I don't have my Xbox 360 online, and I'm not signed up to their service, so again, I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm just going to focus on the normal mode and the burst mode. I'll get right into the difference between the two right now. I'm not even going to wait till we get into the gameplay mechanics and all that. So, if you know anything more than what I'm about to tell you, please correct me or let me know in the comment section down below. Everything that I have found out about these games has been through personal experience and limited research that I've done on the interweb. But the first thing that I noticed that they changed in the 2014 release is the killer heavy metal soundtrack. Now, the 2011 release of Bullet Soul had a pretty good soundtrack. A lot of these Japanese shooters, a lot of Japanese games period, have awesome soundtracks. That's something they pay a lot of attention to. They really put excellent music in video games over in Japan. Anyway, the 2014 release took the really good soundtrack and added a heavy metal twist to it with that 80s hair metal, heavy metal synth keyboard style music that the Japanese games have that's so awesome. So that's the first thing they changed. Whole new soundtrack. Soundtrack is killer. That's probably why when they sold this game physically, they sold it with the soundtrack that I don't have. But I can listen to it on YouTube, so not a big deal. The other major update, or major change, I guess I should say, they made to this game is burst mode. And that's pretty evident based on the title of this game. So, in the original release, you had your bombs, your screen-clearing bombs, just like you would have in Raiden or really any other scrolling shooter that you could play that has screen-clearing bombs. But in this newer 2014 release, or I guess this was a 2017 release on Steam. But anyway, they did away with the bombs and they added burst mode. So what is this burst mode? So pretty much if you've played any type of Dodonpachi game, or if you're familiar with the game I live streamed the other night, if you've played Crimson Clover, it's almost identical to break mode in Crimson Clover. Although Crimson Clover does have a double break mode in World Ignition. But beside the point. You enter break mode, your regular shot becomes super powered up, you do extra damage, and you also score higher. The coins that you will collect in the game, and again, we'll get into that here in a little bit, are worth more points for those of you that chase high scores. You know, Bullet Soul Infinite Burst has got you covered. Now, this is not a super hard game, so if you enter burst mode and collect coins worth more points, you can score higher. And I think that's the main purpose of this game. I think this is one of those type of games that people like to score high on. And I think that's pretty much the main purpose of Infinite Burst. Let's talk about the characters you can choose from, or the different ships you can choose from, if you will. There's 4 different ones in both versions of the game. I don't know what the names of any of them are, but I will tell you the first one you can choose from is it's a blue woman that has like a little, it's like a squirrel that kind of looks like it's hanging off her back, and she has kind of like a green laser type of attack, that kind of like a green spread laser, and you know she looks pretty cool. And then you have your red man with a big sword strapped through his belt, and he looks like a more traditional type of shooter with a spread pattern that you may see in a game like Raiden or something like that. I keep saying Raiden, I don't know why. I must have Raiden on the mind. The next guy you can choose from kind of looks like the water god Neptune, and he has a very interesting spread shot with a gray thing that spirals in the middle of his ship that, to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of, although that character does have a nice slow ship speed that I do prefer when navigating fields and fields of enemy bullets. And the last character, which is the one that probably anybody that plays this game for the first time is going to pick, which is the same character that you see on the screen right now. It's the 2 girl that has the, when you go into your other type of attack, which again, I keep saying this, we'll get into in just a minute, but when you get into your other type of attack, she actually has 2 fists that swing and hit the enemy, which really doesn't help you out any in the scope of, making the game easier or anything like that, or changing the difficulty. Just aesthetically, it looks cool, and it looks badass just watching like a female girl in a ship. You just kind of like use a punch mechanic in a spaceship shooter. Just a pretty cool mechanic, and definitely like one of those, I guess what you want to say, a gimmick of the game. Now, I guess this is the time where we can get into the attack patterns and the different kinds of attacks. And pretty much in this game, like I said, like Crimson Clover, like Dodonpachi, you're going to have your regular shot, and with every character, you're going to have a focus shot. So in bullet hell games, this is a very vital mechanic. So you need a shot that has a very wide spread to kind of clear out the popcorn enemies. And then you need that focus shot, which kind of condenses and kind of slightly powers up your shot, alongside with slowing down the speed. So when navigating mazes of enemy bullets, it's very important to have that focus shot to slow your speed down, to focus your shot. And normally in any decent bullet hell shooter, when you do that focus shot, or any shot for that matter, and you kill that enemy, all those bullets raining down on you, they disappear. And that's the mechanic, you know, that's the thing in bullet hell shooters that actually make them playable, that make them beatable, that make them fun, actually. And if that mechanic was removed from a bullet hell shooter, I find it very impossible to play those type of games. And as a matter of fact, I would love to see somebody finish, you know, a game like Crimson Clover, you know, with no bombs, you know, no break mode, nothing like that. I'm sure it's possible. It's just highly unlikely. There might be a couple of people in the world that can do it. But, you know, we don't have to worry about that because in this game, you know, like I said, we have the spread shot, a regular shot, and we have that focus shot. Now, when it comes to the special in the game, that's going to vary, you know, whether you choose, you know, the regular release, the 2011 release, a Bullet Soul, or Bullet Soul Infinite Burst. And like I said in the beginning of the video, so pretty much in the original release, you had your screen clearing bombs that you can adjust the stock of, and they're just like any normal bomb you'd play in a game like Raiden or any traditional shooter. So in Bullet Soul Infinite Burst, you know, because it's a bullet hell game and because it was sorely missing that mechanic of, you know, leveling. So you level up your special by just killing enemies and collecting coins. Now, when you're in break mode, or I say break mode, when you're in burst mode, when you collect those coins, you know, not only do those coins add to your score, those coins also help keep you in burst mode. So the more of those red coins you collect, like, yes, your points and your score adds up faster, but you can stay in burst mode for longer. Which I don't know if you guys knew that. I'm sure you guys that have played this game have realized that. So you want to keep killing enemies as fast as you can and keep collecting those coins. Especially, that's not really going to happen a lot during boss fights because you don't get as many coins, but just during levels, especially later on in the game when it gets just a little bit harder. Not that this is a really hard game, but that's really important to keep that burst mode going. You just got to collect the coins and, you know, just adds to your score, adds to the length of the burst mode. That's pretty much the mechanic. And it's pretty much what separates the two games, you know, the burst mode, the screen clearing bombs, and the heavy metal soundtrack. Now, with that being said, I mean, the burst mode is cool. Maybe it's because I'm older. I like the screen clearing bombs better. I wish they would have added both as an option in Infinite Burst. I think that's the one thing I think the game is missing. You know, other than the graphics. I mean, the graphics in this game are great. Don't get me wrong. Everything's 3D rendered and it looks really good. I prefer a more traditional sprite-based graphics. I mean, that's just me. I think a lot of people feel that way, you know, similar to the way I feel in that regard. But, you know, don't get it twisted. This is an awesome-looking game. Visually, it looks great. You know, graphically, it looks great. You know, it looks great coming out of the Xbox 360. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, the levels, they kind of blend together. You know, there's nothing really, really memorable. I think level 3 had like kind of a mushroom level, kind of similar to a level in Crimson Clover. It's funny how the two games are so similar. I mean, they were made by different circles or different development teams, but they are very similar. Now, the difficulty in Bullet Soul Infinite Burst is, I'd say it's more on the easy side. And that's not a terrible thing. It makes this game a lot more approachable to a wider audience, and I think that's great. And I think it's actually more fun that it's a bit easier, because you can get in burst mode faster, you can stay in burst mode, you can play in regular mode, use your screen clearing bombs, you can play in burst mode, listen to the awesome soundtrack. And, you know, again, this is a great game that I think that you should buy for the $14.99 that it costs for you to get it online physically, and we'll get into those things at the end of the video. You know, it's a little bit more expensive. But, you know, it's an awesome value for what you get. You know, visually, you know, it looks good, you know, but the levels kind of blend together, which isn't a terrible thing. The sound in this game is rocking. It's got a pretty awesome soundtrack. I mean, the soundtrack is up there with the likes of Eschatos. You know, it's not as good as Eschatos, but it's pretty good. It's got a better above average soundtrack, I guess you'd say. And the level design, it's done well. You know, everything that's 3D rendered and moves around, and the changing perspectives in the background kind of remind me of games like Ether Vapor and Astrobreed. Although the way that you function in the game and the mechanics of the way that you move in the game stay the same, the background changes. And, you know, just kind of gives you a nice perspective on things. And it also reminds me of games like Thunder Force 4 on the Sega Genesis, the way that background changed. So, guys, if you're a shoot-'em-up fan, and I have a feeling that you are, and you want a new, not super challenging game, but super fun game to play, this is totally your game. And for those of you that are totally against PC gaming, I mean, this is a genre you might want to break yourself out of that habit, because by not playing some of these games on a PC, you're doing yourself a huge injustice. Anyway, Bullet Soul Infinite Burst gets a thumbs up in my book, and it's a totally awesome hidden gem on the Xbox 360. So, you guys copping or what? Now, if you want to buy this game, you can get it on Steam. It's $14.99. Same with the Xbox store. I don't know what that's called. I never get on the Xbox online store. But it's $14.99 on there, too. I did check on Google. And if you want it physically, the only copies I see for sale right now are like the copies with the soundtrack. It's kind of like a collector's edition, I guess. They're like $250 and up. If you find like I guess this is a loose copy with the manual and case, they're about half that. That's what I paid, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit that it's a lot of money to spend on a game. But I have been paying for these games with eBay money that I've been making off selling other games. And thank you to everyone that's been buying stuff off the eBay links I've been posting. It's been helping me out a lot, and it's helped funding my Xbox 360 shooter addiction I got going on. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please like the video. I'm trying to grow this channel. And, it's really hard, but the people that are watching, that I'm interacting with, are awesome. And I've been live streaming little bits here and there using OBS, not just the PlayStation 4. So I did Crimson Clover the other night. I'm probably going to do, I'm probably going to do Ether Vapor next. So if you see Ether Vapor within the next couple of days, it's a pretty good game. And some other ones, I'm going to have some pretty good stuff I got going on for live stream. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like this video. And if you're not subscribed yet, you like shoot 'em ups, spaceship shooters, shmups, or whatever the kids call them these days, arcade style of games, or like RPGs with killer battle systems, you might want to consider subscribing to the channel. Anyways, guys, till next time. Peace out.